All right. Thank you, Tina, for that warm introduction. Can everybody see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Give me just a second here and get this set up. All right. So yeah, Tina, thank you for that introduction. Man, it's so great to be here with you guys. Just been really enjoying my time in Master Networks. I know I think I have about 15 minutes, so I'm going to jump right into it. I want to thank Rob for the invitation to speak here, and also for just his friendship and him pouring into me as well. So let's get this going. So today we're going to be talking about how to get more referrals in your business. That's what we all want. We all want more referrals. Before we jump into that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually born in Brooklyn, New York. When I was 2 years old, my family moved here to Orlando, Florida, where I grew up, and went off to college and actually studied to become a pastor. And afterwards, I got to be had the privilege of becoming the first ever chaplain at 2 different private schools on 2 separate occasions, which was a lot of fun. After that, I say my horizons got broadened because I went from working with private school kids now to working with a mental health agency, working with young people in the juvenile detention center, people in jail. A lot of stories there. There was never a dull moment. After that, got into coaching, became a brand strategist. As Tina mentioned, I was privileged to be awarded the Brains 500 Global Award this past year. Some of my hobbies are I enjoy reading. I love to read. I'm one of those people that when I get that text message that Amazon has delivered my book, I get excited. So that's me. And let's see. I also love watching sports. Grew up playing sports. Played for my high school basketball team. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. To anybody out there, no, LeBron is not the GOAT. It is Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and we can have that conversation another time. A big hobby of mine I picked up in the past year is walking. So guys, if it's getting warm out, if you need new ideas, any creativity, innovation, go out and walk. Walking stimulates creativity in the brain. I have a client, she'll tell you, she said, Victor, your walking has changed my business, because I'll be out there and I'll just get an idea while I'm walking, and I call them like, hey, we got to do this. She's like, all right, let's do it. And I'm just a simple guy, just, love having a good time hanging out with family and friends. Once again, I look forward in a couple of weeks to meeting a lot of you in person I'll be flying up to New York for the golf outing. So looking forward to that as well. So what are we going to cover today? Just 2 things, guys. If you want to get more referrals in your business, number 1, start out by telling a compelling story. And number 2, give a lot of value. Number 1's very important, but if you're not paying attention for the first part of this, please make sure you pay attention to the latter part. All right, so we're gonna start. Number 1, just telling a story. So there was a French poet. His name was Jacques Cousteau. Not Jacques Cousteau, Jacques Prévert. What am I saying here? His name was Jacques Prévert, and he's walking down the street one day, and as he's walking, he sees a homeless man on the side of the road. And as he gets closer to him, he not only realizes that he is homeless, but he's also blind. And so he starts talking to him, and he asks him, how's it going? And so this blind homeless man says to him, he said, sir, it's not going so well. People walk by and they don't really give me money. And Jacques said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And so the homeless man asked him, well, can you help me out with something? And Jacques says, I'm sorry, I'm just a poor writer, I'm just a poor poet, I can't really help you out with anything. But he said, why don't you give me your sign? And the homeless man had a sign that simply said, I'm blind. So Jacques takes the sign, turns it over, writes something on it, and then he walks off. A few days later, Jacques walking down the same street, sees the same blind homeless man, and he stops and asks him the same question. How are you doing? How's it going? And this time, the man's tune had changed. He said, oh my goodness, people are stopping by all the time. They're always giving me money. My hat fills up 3 times a day with money. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you wrote on my sign. And guys, on his sign, Jacques had simply written, spring is coming, but I won't see it. When he took the man's plight and put a story around it, a narrative around it, people did 2 things. They began to care and they gave money. They began to care and they gave money. So here's the thing, in your business, when you're not just about selling a product or service, but you have a story around what you do, people will do two things. They will care to listen to you and they'll want to do business with you. All right. And we're going to get a little bit more into that. So talking about stories, what is a story? I like this definition here. A story is how what happens affects someone in pursuit of a difficult goal and how he or she changes as a result. So let's break that down. That first part there, listen, your customers, they're in pursuit of a difficult goal. They have a problem. And when you can position yourself in their story, you invite them into a story where you are showing and demonstrating how you solve their problems, that now they have a reason to pay attention to you. Now they have a reason to give you money. You position yourself as indispensable in their life. But not only that, look at that last part, how he or she changes as a result. This might be the most important thing you hear today. Because listen, if you thought you were in business just to sell a product or service, you need to get out of business right now. People are coming to you for transformation in their lives. When you can provide them a change, a transfer, you thought transformation was just for life coaches. No, it's for everybody in business. And when your business, when you can position your product or service as something that changes people's lives, you can have your business out in the jungle, out in Timbuktu somewhere. They will make a beating path to where you are because you are giving more than, you are giving them something more than what they paid for. You are changing you're taking them to the top level of Maslow's pyramid, self-actualization. You're helping me to become a better person. And that's price. There's no price point you can put on that. All right. So you can use story in your business, not to just sell a product or service, but to help change people's lives, to make a difference. All right. So why tell stories in your business? Number one is simply stories help the buyer just to relax and listen. Now, in his book, The 60-Second Sales Hook, sales expert Kevin Rogers observes of most buyers, one glance that a sales pitch is being slung your way and your mental door slams shut. You've heard Tina say it earlier, ditch the pitch. Guys, break up with your pitch, because once people feel you're starting to pitch to them, guess what? They're gonna have this big thing in their mind going on like, I don't care. Stop talking. I'm one of those people. If you do a face-to-face with me and I feel you're starting to pitch me, I'm mentally and emotionally running away from you in my mind. I really am. Like, I hear people, oh, well, my product does this, my service is that. And I'm just like, okay, I really don't want to be here right now. I'm just being honest. If I feel you're starting to pitch me. So stories will just help the buyer simply relax and just listen. All right. Number two, stories help build strong relationships. All right. So Mike Parrott, he's the vice president and general manager at Costco. He says, if all other things are equal, buyers will buy from a salesperson they like the best and trust the most. You know, this week in Master Networks, it's Bond Week, right? And we're focused on building on those common interests. Think about it, as we're getting to know each other, you're not just telling people facts about yourself, you're sharing stories. That's how we bond. That's how we build the relationships. It works in networking and it also works in business. Stories can help you build strong relationships. Number three, stories speak to the part of the brain where decisions are actually made. Guys, it doesn't help to try to rationally explain with facts why people should buy from you. I'm going to say that one more time because somebody missed it. It doesn't help to try to rationally explain with facts why people should buy from you. You've all heard it before. Facts tell, but stories sell. Once again, when you just keep talking about this is what I do, this is how awesome my product is, this is how amazing my service is, you are easily forgotten. Guys, be phenomenal or be forgotten. You'll be phenomenal with stories. You'll be forgotten with just simply telling people facts about what you do. People don't make purchasing decisions from the rational part of their brain. They do it from the emotional. And the best way to emotionally connect with them is through stories. Purchases are 100% emotional. Number four, stories make it easier for the buyer to remember you, your ideas, and your product. Many studies show that facts are easier to remember if they're embedded in a story than if they're delivered in any other form. And lastly, number 5, stories increase the value of the product that you're selling. Think of a company like Apple, right? You know, you'll have like these college students, they're living off ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the dorm. And they'll go to Best Buy and they will walk straight past the $500 HP and run right over to that $1,200, $1,500 MacBook. Why? Because Apple has built their companies on stories. And I hear the people, my friends who are PC people and Android, they're always trying to tell me how much the iPhone and Mac sucks and it's not as good. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I subscribe. I subscribe to their story, and I'll pay more to have that rather than that. So I know some PC and Android people don't like me right now, but hey, it is what it is, right? So they're able to increase the value of what they're doing because they built not just their company, not just on talking about a product or service, but inviting people into a story, right? All right, so real quick, I want you guys to put this into the chat. And if you've spoken to me before, don't answer this because you probably already know if we talked about this before. But what is the fastest growing company of all time? What would your guess be? Just throw it into the chat. Give me 2 to 3 guesses. What's you would say the fastest growing company of all time? I'm looking at some of the answers here. Reese Flood says Amazon. Tina Cater said Amazon. Stephanie Bellafato says Amazon. Lois says Apple. David says Facebook. These are some really good answers. Rob Genovese says Facebook. Aviva says Facebook. Emma Insure. Barbara Puzzy says Apple, Amazon. Joanne, Facebook. All right. Let's see. We got McDonald's, Geico, Mary Kay, TikTok. Oh, okay. All right, some really good guesses here. All right. All right, so guys, get this. We got Alibaba, Berkshire Hathaway. All right, so the fastest growing company of all time, get this, is actually Groupon. Groupon is the fastest growing company of all time, right? And they did it part and parcel through telling stories. So when they first started their company, what they would do is they actually hired comedy writers from the second city in Chicago. And they would send out these emails, the coupons, the group coupons and emails, and they hired these comedy writers to put these stories around the coupons. And these weren't even real stories, these were fictitious stories. And so that did 2 things. It increased the read rate and people shared it with their friends. They went viral. The rest is history. Groupon's the fastest growing company of all time, right? All right, so number 2, if you want to get more referrals in your business, guys, if you haven't paid attention to anything else that was said, you gotta pay attention now. And that is to give a lot of value. This is my belief in business. The single biggest problem why people are not getting referrals or getting clients in their business is because they spend more time talking about their product rather than giving value about how their product solves problems. I'm gonna say that one more time. The reason why you're lacking in clients and referrals is because you spend more time, whether it's in a networking meeting or a face-to-face or whatever, you spend more time talking more about how amazing your product and services rather than providing value on how it solves a problem. Guys, you are in business because you solve a problem. People will engage you because you solve a problem. People will want to give you money because you solve a problem, not because you tell them how amazing your product or service is. All right. So what is the love language in business? The love language in business, guys, is simply adding value. That is everybody's love language in business. And if if you've heard the book, the love languages, you got to be able to speak the way the person understands, right? You got to communicate to them the way that they understand it. And adding value is something that that's the language that every prospective client speaks. When you can do that, you are communicating, you've got your foot in the door to doing business with them. So you see some food there on the screen. You're wondering what in the world is that doing there, right? So guys, you've been to the mall before, and you're at the mall and you're shopping, and you pass by the food court and you see that lady. You know, she has the outfit. She's in front of the store there. She has the little tray with the white cups with the samples of bourbon chicken in them, right? You're not even hungry. You're not thinking about food, but you see it. You say, "Ooh, let me go over there and have a little taste." So you go over there. You pop a little bit in your mouth, you taste it, you say, "Ooh, that was sweet." And she says, come, you can get a plate for $7.99. Right? What does she do? She used that little bourbon chicken as a lead generator to get you to the grand buffet. They do the same thing at Costco. You go to Costco, you see all the samples there. They don't have samples just so you can snack while you're shopping. They know that if you are tasting some of the samples, that you're going to spend more money. Just real quick, anybody raise your hand if you've been to Costco, you spent more money because you had those samples, right? That's exactly. So guys, what you want to do is in your business, you want to give people like a little bit of free, no, not a little bit, a lot of free information, because the more generous you are in the free information that you give that demonstrates how you solve their problem, the easier it will be to get clients to come to you instead of you pushing in order to get them. So you do this through, like I said, what's called a lead generator. So what is a lead generator, right? So it's usually a free asset you offer potential clients as a way of building authority and trust. This is Donald Miller's definition. A free asset, something free you give them so you can build authority and trust. So a lead generator should position you as the customer's guide, answer your clients' questions, solve their problems, pique their interest, stir a sense of reciprocity. It should also build trust in what you have to offer, challenge a potential customer to take action, and give them a vision of the successful result they could experience. Guys, the more generous you are in your lead generators and the information that you're giving out, the easier it will be to get clients. In fact, he suggests that spend more time on your lead generators than on your actual product and service, right? Don't get me wrong. Make sure what you're doing is good. Make sure that the service you're offering is good, but spend a lot more time in your lead generators. It's an easy way to get people to come to you rather than you having to, as Rob Genovese mentioned earlier, going out to have to chase them. All right, so here are some types of lead generators that you can utilize. An easy, simple one is just do a checklist, right? A checklist that people can just, hey, you provide this information. They say, oh yeah, I need this, I need that. And you do that in the form of a downloadable PDF. You can make a worksheet your audience will use over and over. This is good if you're like a life coach, accountability coach, things like that. You can host an educational event. So this is a great way for people to see, oh, they hear you speak and they say, oh, this is how this person can solve my problem. All right. Other type of lead generator, you can do one of my favorites, webinars. All right. You can do a keynote that turns into a lead generating event. And the key here is to be able to capture people's email addresses so that you can keep the relationship going. You can also do what's called a pitfall list. So pitfall list is something like, if let's say you're a realtor and you can do a lead generator with the title, The 5 Mistakes That People Make When Buying Their First Home. So you're helping them to avoid the mistakes. If somebody sees that's like, hey, I don't want to make those mistakes, so let me see what this person has to say. So to close out really quick, what I want to show you is just it's a short video, and it's of this comedian. He travels all over doing comedy. And in the middle of his comedy sets, he likes to stop and just talk to the audience and get to know them a little bit. And so in this particular scene, he's talking to a musical director, and a conversation ensues. So here it is.
So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right, all right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
All right, so guys, real quick, I just want you to just come off of mute and somebody share with me. Tell me, what was the difference between the first time when he sang the song and the second time? What was the difference?
Belief.
Emotion.
His passion.
Passion.
Oh, wow. He made me cry.
All right, so belief, emotion, passion, yes, it was all in it the second time he sang it. So here's the thing, guys. The first time he sang the song, he knew what he was doing. The second time he sang it, he knew why he was doing it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why it matters to them. All right, so real quick, just to wrap up, if you have any further questions, feel free. I'll put a link in the chat. You can schedule, just for the people on this call, you can schedule a free brand strategy session with me. We can definitely talk further. So there'll just be a form that you fill out, just a couple questions, and then you can schedule a time to meet with me if you have any further questions. But other than that, I just want to, let me also, you can contact me here as well. I'm on LinkedIn at Coach Victor Felix. You can go to my website, communityleadershipnetworkus.com. Email me, call or text 407-906-3264. Tina, and Rob, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. You guys have been great, and I'll turn it back over to you, Tina.
That was awesome, Victor.
Great, that
Thank you.
was awesome. Thank you so much. Just want to make sure.
That was awesome, Victor.
Great, that
Thank you.
was awesome. Thank you so much. Just want to make sure.